Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third, at your service, at any cost. Anyway, for the reason why we're discussing this in deep detail is wondering why it's 40 years gap between 1984, as it says in the books that I am the, the third gen fact controller. That's false information. Why? Because there's a 40-year gap. Ding! It's now 2024, and now I've become the fat guy that everybody needs. Now a lot of you are going to ask a simplified question, right? This 40-year gap is there for a reason, right? Everything that I've been through is the right correction of dates and years passed by since the 40-year gap. Now everybody's asking why is the why a lot of you are asking why I'm here. I'm here to get the Norfolk Railway back on track. Have you noticed they got Boko on the line? Ding ding. Right? That tells you it's 1984 when it isn't. It's now 2024. Why? Because my grandfather, on both sides of my family, both of them, were safeguarding me when I was young. Now wake up and smell that coffee. Now it's 40-year gap. Why? I don't bump into Boko until 2024. The actual engine itself. But where am I on the platform? Who screwed up? Well, we know who screwed up, right? We just need to clear up the flaming damn mess, after all. But you have to be realistic. If it states on the internet, which is false information, 1984, it was 2024. Now it adds up. Of everything I'm doing is real life event about it. Now it's getting real, isn't it, in your heads? It's starting to make sense. Why? Because my stepdad, or stepfather, Duck, said it was 40 years gap between 1984 to 2024. And then what you don't realise, when I was young, I was see the events unfold slowly. But now, you saw me when I was 5 years of age on the Norfolk Railway, and you saw me progress forward. Well, today, well, the people that are on board or on the platform are basically a load of horse shit that I have to clear up. A lot of mess, if you will. The management is going bye bye. We know that. We know why. We know how. We just got to let it play out and let them destroy themselves. Because that's all they're going to do. And then the big red flag on us, then it calls us up. Why do we come 3 generations later after this 40-year gap between 1984, when the actual airing of the Thomas franchise started, of course, on the 10th of October 1983, was the actual pilot airing. So work it out. I was born on that year, but the actual month and day was on my birthday. Work it out. It works well, don't it? It coordinates well, and then you have to wait 40 years to get to me. So now you probably got to wait another 10 or 20 years before my son Richard Topham Hatt comes into play. But then you've got to work out who's the mother is, or the wife is the words to express it. But the way things are unfolding in front of me, look at the third gen timeline through Wild Norwester's timeline. It all adds up. But at the same time, because the timeline is all mixed up, what do you get? 40-year gap, but why is it not 1984? Because Like I said, the knowledge has to be slowly processed. So when you're young and hearing that story, you're starting to hear my story through that, right? So it was 1984 when it was aired on television, but the real life version took longer. So that's why there is a 40-year gap between that and the actual real life version that's now started in 2024. It was a timer for me, not for you guys. So work it out. What happens now? The third gen's on play. Ding, 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 ding. Now you've got Boko coming in from the other main line who's got a seal of approval. Ding, ding, ding. It's all adding up. But then you'll have more steam trains coming through. Ding, 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 ding. Then the people that are running the North Norfolk Railway will end up abandoning ship, as they call it, and then they will abandon ship because the fat man's back. Me. So if you really look at it, a 40-year gap between 1984 to 2024. But what happened during that time period? I was 5 years old, growing up on the railway and being a volunteer as well, without acknowledgement of Joe Mudden or Andrew Mudden or any of those diesel squads. Boof, boof, they had nothing to do with it. Why? Why? When I was 5 years old, my grandfather was safeguarding me at Sheringham Station as it was planned, and it was really well thought of too. But keep it going. Everybody that was on that platform in that time knew who I was. They're just waiting for me when I turned 37, right? Bang, boom, shakalaka, got me. They knew who I was, but they did not say anything. The only thing they had to do was give you the little message to say that is Sir Topham Hatt the First's grandson. Ding ding. That's why I got respected then, but not now. Why? Because they don't believe it what's unfolded. So now they all screwed up because all the people they booted out, boom, 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 ending up being witnesses. And then when they saw me come to life, hey presto, third, Sir Topham Hatt the third is here. Stephen Topham Hatt. Ding, 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 ding. It all adds up, don't it, when it's a 40-year gap. So when you think about it, when you were reading those books, they were 1984 to actually when it is 2024. So it's a 40-year gap. So work it out. Because why? It's part of my mother and Duck's telephone number. 83, 77 and 40. So realistically, all these numbers are always to do with our DNA. Right? 83 was the year I was born. 77 relates to my mother. And then 40 relates to my age. And how many years have passed since 1984. So work it out. It's all there in truth. And it's in logic and all. So what happens to the North Norfolk Railway when they have got the third gen back controller, Stephen Topham Hatt, on the platform? They're screwing themselves up still. So let it play out, then they will slap face whatever and they will get out of the building. Why? Because I'm back to recorrect all the mistakes. Right? I understand it's a big commitment, it's a big job to go through. But I had enough of all the rudeness, the cockiness, and the selfishness they have put in. Right? Do you think they're going to wake up tomorrow morning and open up the whole place up? No, because the truth has just kicked them up the arse. So work it out. It's true. It's no false accusations, and it's all bloody gone the right way it should. Now you're gonna see me have a little go at Boko, obviously, and that will set the fire to light. What it means is it says there is a lot of things about that Tom's the Tank book that you don't understand. Only I do, and all the predecessors and the descendants of the actual generation 1 and 2 and 3 bunks your uncle. Then you got to work out why is the fourth generation involved. The Hatt family, I already know about. Richard Topham Hatt, my son, my granddaughter Emily Helen Hatt. Bang. Just got to work out who the wife is. That's all. So what happens when it doesn't? When it all combines together slowly, like the magnet? Let it play out. Let the Norfolk Railway get scrapped because that's not a Norfolk Railway. It's a North Western Railway Company. And while there's a 40-year gap, so they had their time. Now it's my time. Now they can get out of that building and move on. So they screwed up what should not have been disrespected. So I may be looking at you in a happy mood, but in the day, 40-year gap from 1984, which is what the railway's saying it is, but it's actually 40 years ahead. So work it out, I was watching all my life unfold as the first video stated, and then bang. But you don't realise that was 40 years later. Now watch who's confused.com. I said 40 years ahead. Why? Because I'm 40 years old now. Go backwards and you end up with 1984. It all makes sense now, don't it? The person that's supposed to be in control of that Norfolk railway station is me. So they have no hoo-ha. I don't want any bloody excuses from the diesel team. They lost. Kapooey. Put. The management is out the window. Poof. They gone. Why? They can't believe it. So like what I would say, Burnett Stone said, the magic you refuse to believe in will get the better of you. And it worked. 40 years later, after 1984. When I looked at that series and I looked at the books as well, I realised that there was a bigger role to play in than just playing around. Right? So I'm taking my role seriously because I'm a bloodliner of the Hat. Ding ding. What happens? So work it out. If it's real life and it's unfolding in front of you, guess what's going to happen now? While the rest of this timeline is going to kick in. Big time kick in. Some of it's already played out, but now the big things are coming in. So work it out. You got, let me put it in perspective for you. You got Boko coming in, which he already crossed the level crossing. So Boko came across. So why was I not on the platform? Banned from the premises. So Hugh Harkett was a total asshole, right? So they work out all the management. They're all gonna think, fuck's sake, he knows too much, right? That will all come out to light, and it will hit him in the face, and it already has. The only problem is, without me on the platform, I can't finish the result that I needed to do. So what happens when Hugh Harkett's on the platform? He'd be like saying, I don't give a flaming shit. Why, I do. I do give that a shit. I worry about that business going round Swampington. He wants that railway to be a business. He's not going to get it as a business. He's going to find out it's a heritage railway line. He's not going to disrespect it and treat it as a business when it's a heritage railway and an organisation. There's a difference between the two. You can't mix the both. So when Duck told me it's been 40-year gap, bang bang Robbie Cam. You lost, Diesel team. So now Hugh Harkett is now retiring with Joe Mudland on top. Why? Because they failed to realise what was unfolding up here. And it's not just up here, it's their brains and their heads and their unfoldment. So while it was unfolding in front of everybody else, all the porters, all the guards, all everybody there are gonna be like drop jawed and say, "What fuck, Jesus Christ?" And then they'd be out. As the words of Reverend Robert Audrey stated, it won't suit his grace. Thank you very much. But it proves a point that a 40-year gap between 1984 to 2024. So there's a reason for that, but there was a safeguard in place and everything else. So you may think you screwed it up, but you haven't. I won. You lost. So wake up and smell that coffee. Thank you very much.